This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. As always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Coming off a perfect night last night. We'll talk about that coming up in our recap. Also, we have some football to go over. College, the big one in the Sunshine State, USF. They head down to Miami to take on the Hurricanes Saturday afternoon. Also, actually Monday night, the doubleheader, the first game, the Bucs and the Texans. We will talk about that game as well and have some baseball to get to. So, Lee, let's get it going with the blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
Let's begin in the American League. The Astros and the Blue Jays in Toronto, two teams that could see each other again in the postseason. We'll see how it all unfolds. But Yordan Alvarez, the big slugger for the Astros. Lee, what do you like with him in Toronto tonight?
So we're looking at the 1.5 total bases here. Alvarez has only 2 hits off of Jose Berrios, but both for home runs. Small sample size, really small. He's hitting, get this, .516 in the month of September. You talk about getting hot down the stretch here. I think he matches up well here. Berrios has given up 18 runs in his last 23 innings. Watched him just trying to paint the zone. What happens is when you start getting hit and lit up, you don't want to put it down the middle, and you start trying to get little, nibble on the corners. That's where you start walking guys to. But I think that Alvarez is going to do some damage here, just like last night, which we'll get to. Guy that matches up well against a guy that's struggling. We're going to take it here, and he's got power. He hits doubles and home runs galore. Yordan Alvarez, over 1.5 total bases, -115. Going to be a nice, easy blowout special for us.
Yeah, and the Astros ended up blowing that game last night against the Blue Jays, lost in extra innings, so Houston only up 1 game on Seattle for first in the AL West. Toronto still a 3-game lead over the Yankees and the Red Sox in the East, so see if those teams can stay atop their respective divisions. Before we get to the recap, Lee, you got something as far as giving away some of your service, and what do people have to do to get it?
Well, if you're one of those early birds, you know what they say, the early bird gets the worm. And I was studying a game yesterday, and I found out not only had the second string running back been hurt for a team, the first string running back got hurt and never entered the second half. And the starter now is a kid, a walk-on. I mean, they list him at 5'9", like 185. He's like 5'6.5", 5'7". This kid is not a player at this level. It's a team with a new coach that probably should have went out and got a quarterback. He played 2 quarterbacks last week. So you name the team where a third-string running back is going to start. If you're the first one that contacts me either through X/Twitter and DMs me at Paramount Sports or emails me at psports@bellsouth.net. I am going to give you the rest of the month, my September to Remember football special, where you get 9 to 12, 9 to 13 games a week. It's discounted to $297 for free. So if you're the first one, the early bird gets the worm, and you can figure out or do some work real quick and find out who that team that lost their starting running back, and I believe their best player by far on the offense, probably on the whole team, and team's going to have to go to a walk-on to start the game, a big game for them this weekend. DM me at Paramount Sports on Twitter/X or email me, psports@bellsouth.net, and you're going to get the entire rest of September on my executive phone service for free.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see who that team is. We discussed before the show, and I thought, oh, okay, well, Now we'll see how they handle all of that. Last night, Lee, a perfect 3-0 here on the show, and that is always something to be happy about. James Wood of the Nationals ended up picking up 2 hits in their win over the Marlins. Usually you say you like to get that double home run, get on that 1 hit, but James Wood, it took him 2 hits, but he was able to do it and go over 1.5 bases last night.
Yep, and we said he'd probably get 5 at bats. That's exactly what happened. I think he was walked 1 time, but hitting the ball hard, got a single first, walked, then comes back, I think in the 7th, top of the 7th, and gets a double. All he needed was a single, and boom, we cashed the first one. Love it.
Now, the second baseball play was kind of a never-in-doubt winner. The Dodgers minus 1.5 against the Rockies, and we talk about how bad Colorado is. I mean, it's not breaking news how bad they are, but the Dodgers took care. They didn't screw around last night. I feel like that they've done that for the last few months, and this is what happens when you win the World Series. You win all these division titles in a row. They just get a little complacent, and the Dodgers last night took care of business. I believe now, I said it yesterday, I think it was 8 of 9 now, 9 of 10. They've beaten the Rockies this year by multiple runs.
Yeah, every single year you'll see the Dodgers, they'll have a couple series where they lose to the worst team in baseball and usually get swept. And people talk about it, and then you forget about it, and they go on their run. They're so dominant. Their lineup, I mean, it's like an all-star lineup. The pitching staff, I mean, their top 4 or 5 guys, at least top 4, probably be number ones for most teams. So, when you got that kind of payroll, unless you make a lot of mistakes, well, sometimes like the Yankees, you're going to be that good. So Dodgers dominated Colorado. Colorado, one of those teams just playing out the string, and we're going to hit on another one and go against another team coming up soon, like I said, later in this segment.
Now, the WNBA, Lee, I know that you stayed up and tried to find this game to watch. It was a winner. The Valkyries, first quarter, +2 against the Storm, and they led after the first. They lost the game, actually covered as about a 6.5-point underdog. But I had mentioned the Valkyries. They had shut down the Storm in the first quarter in all 3 matchups earlier this season, did it again. Held Seattle to 12 points in the first, and Golden State now 14-2 in the first quarter of the last 16 games. So that was a good one to grab last night with the regular season winding down.
Yeah, it was. Right before the game, I was texting you, where is it? Where is it? I need to find it. I'm going to spend all 18 and a half minutes and watch this, and you said it's not on. So just had to follow along, and, well, winner, chicken dinner. 3-0s are so important. It's nice to have 2-1s, but the difference between 2-1, which is a good day, don't want to downplay that. But you go 3-0, it's 2 games better than 2-1. Gives you, you relax, you take a deep breath when you're studying for the next day, you're feeling good about yourself. If you go out for a walk or you're on the treadmill like I am, got a little pep in your step. So I'm ready to go. It's going to be a big week for us.
Yeah, we have a couple baseball games to get to for tonight. Also, a big college football game. Biggest game in the CW ever. USF in Miami. That is coming up Saturday afternoon at Hard Rock Stadium. We're going to talk about that game. Also, the Buccaneers and the Texans. Very intriguing matchup on Monday night in Houston. Tampa Bay had that late comeback against Atlanta, and the Texans struggled a bit against the Rams. We'll see if they bounce back coming up at home on Monday night. So all of that is coming up. Very busy Wednesday show as we continue here on Locked On Bets. Let's talk now about FanDuel, and we talk about FanDuel a lot here on this show. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And what choices you have in the NFL? So many choices. I can't even, it's unlimited. Week 2 begins Thursday. Commanders and Packers in Green Bay. So you have that as your first game. Monday night, you have a doubleheader. Bucks, Texans, Chargers, Raiders after that. Sunday night, Falcons, Vikings. So many great games to choose from. And if you want to go to the awards already, if you want to skip the games, just see who wins the awards. Josh Allen of the Bills, Lamar Jackson of the Ravens. They're the 2 favorites right now at FanDuel to win MVP. Also, you can bet on Offensive Rookie of the Year, Ashton Genty of the Raiders. He scored a touchdown in their opening win over the Patriots. He's the favorite. Myles Garrett Defensive Player of the Year of the Browns, he's the favorite there. Or if you want to go the Super Bowl route, see who's going to win the big game, you could bet on that. So many choices for the NFL at FanDuel, and it's time now to get in on that offer. And if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. We continue here, Locked On Bets on a Wednesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. Got some football to get to in just a bit, but right now a couple baseball games out west. And first, let's begin with the Hidden Gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
So the Padres lost last night to the Reds, and they are now 2 back of the Dodgers atop or for first place in the National League West. And we're going to go the first 5-inning play tonight on the Cincinnati Reds at Petco Park. And here's a couple of reasons why. Number one, Andrew Abbott. He takes the mound for Cincinnati. He struggled of late. He's winless in the first 5 innings in 5 of his past 6 starts. Got knocked around by the Mets his last time out at home. But the last time he faced the Padres when San Diego went to Cincinnati back on June 28th, 5 innings, allowed 1 run. The Reds bullpen blew it, so the Padres came back and won that game. But Abbott has pitched well against San Diego, now on the Padres side. In the first 5 innings, they're 2-10-2 the last 14 games. Also, how about this, Lee? Last 7 games against left-handed starters, first 5 innings for the Padres, they're 1-6, and they've scored 3 total runs in that span.
Wow.
Let's go with the Reds. Big red machine tonight.
Love it. Let's hope we don't need, Johnny Bench and also George Foster. Just one of the two do the job here and hit us a little dinger, take the lead, and turn that game off. So a lot of good games in baseball. There's some really good matchups coming up with, not only division leaders going against each other, teams that are playing for wild cards. I mean, in the AL, there's a bunch of teams still alive.
I know we're going to talk about the game in just a moment, but I want to mention this, that the Red Sox, they're playing the A's in Sacramento, that the job that Alex Cora has done with them, it's just a quick little refresher. He wins the World Series, and then he ends up losing his job because of the whole cheating scandal in Houston. They went through that 1 year. They had another manager in there. The Red Sox were so bad that year, they said, you know what? We'll let Cora sit it's almost like they suspended him for a year. Be like, okay, we're going to bring you back because you helped us win a World Series. We don't care what you did in Houston. You're coming back because this guy sucked who was here before. So I think it's just so interesting how they didn't care about that because he helped the Red Sox win a World Series. But the job he's done is just amazing with that Boston team.
I think he's a great manager. I mean, I sit there and watch some games over the summer. I mean, I'm really obviously more into it than I am now. But, I watch it, and he makes just some great decisions as far as pitch hitters, inserting guys at the right time, knows when to take pitchers out. And also, for one of the few teams, they don't have a whole lot of speed, but they do a lot of hit and run. So sacrifices, just understands the game. Well, he went to the University of Miami, went to the U. So really good background, and loved him when he was a player, and just as much or more as a manager. There's very few good managers out there.
All right, so with that being said, let's go now to another blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
Few weeks left in the season. The Red Sox are still hanging around there in the AL East. They're 3 back and in the wild card as well. So we'll see what they do tonight in Sacramento against the A's. So, Lee, what do you like with this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, they're probably not going to win the division because they've got 2 teams they've got to jump, but they're almost for sure going to be in the playoffs. I think they have a 5-game lead on the team that's trailing the wild card, matchup. But here's the thing that I really like about this game. Not only has Boston won each of the last 2 games against the Athletics, I don't know what they're called now, Oakland or Sacramento Athletics, crowds not there anymore. It's late summer, early fall. No one's going midweek. And problem here for the Athletics is twofold. their lineup is pretty much complete garbage. And pitching-wise, they're bringing up guys have no business pitching in major leagues. Now, if you look at both starters, you're like, well, both teams have starters. It's the third game for them pitching in the major leagues. That's about the same. The ERAs aren't that far off. But then you got to dig a little bit deeper, layers. So the pitcher here for Boston, third start, Peyton Toll, 0-1, 7.56 ERA. But you're like, that's not good at all. But over the course of the year, in his career, he's been actually very good. His career is a career record of 3-5 and 3.04 ERA. So he's been consistent, single A, double A, triple A. On the other hand, Mason Barnett for the Athletics, 1-1 with a 9 ERA. Third start, obviously, coming up. Has not pitched against anyone good so far this year. But through his one season and his work at AAA, he was 6-2 with a 6.13 ERA in AAA. How do you get a call-up? I mean, I used to be an agent. If my guys had an ERA of like mid-4s or 5s in the minor leagues, they were let go, if they were a 10th round pick or later. This guy has an ERA of 6.13 in AAA and gets a call-up. So it just shows you everyone's getting a call-up. Who knows whether his agent or, it's in his contract, he has to have a call-up. I don't know, but has no business pitching this level. They got shut out each of the last 2 games here by Boston. Boston will take care of him here. I'm laying the small spot, minus 130. This is going to be an easy win for the Boston Red Sox tonight.
And after the Red Sox wrap up the series, they go home Friday. Who do they get? The Yankees at home. So we'll see how that turns out. Very big series. Yeah, Red Sox don't trip up tonight, and then they get the Yankees this weekend. So a very pivotal game for both of those. A very pivotal series, I should say, for both those teams, with the Yankees taking on the Tigers now, and the Tigers blew them out last night.
Right. So, think it's going to be a fun, like I said, it's going to be a fun last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it should be pretty good. And with all that being said, coming up, we have the football to talk about. College Saturday, USF and UM. I keep saying Sunday. I keep thinking it was Sunday night. Monday night, the Buccaneers and the Texans in Houston. We're going to talk about both those games coming up right here on Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here on a Wednesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And we have a couple locks to give out here this segment to get to football. And the Bulls of USF, after upsetting Florida last week, they go from Gainesville down to Miami. Well, it came back to Tampa for a few days. They didn't just go down there after. But they go down to Miami to take on the Canes. So we'll see with this first lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
I think many people expected USF to be 2-0 after playing Boise State and Florida, but they have found a way to win both those games. And the Canes now also in a tough stretch here. Nobody thought the USF game would be, a game that you'd be concerned about. You get Florida on deck, you get FSU after that. But Lee, the Canes a heavy favorite here at home against the Bulls. What do you like?
Yeah, I think people were surprised, and I was a little bit too. I thought the line would come 12.5, 13. The line last week was Florida was laying 17.5 points, and a lot of people took Florida. They fell for the bait there, and South Florida came to play. Now, the question here is, how much does South Florida have in the tank here? So they beat Boise, looked great, came on in the second half. I think part of it was things went their way. They were +3 in turnover ratio. Boise just absolutely wilted in the second half. And also Ashton Genty was no longer with that team. And they're still trying to figure that out, how they're going to get their offense going. Next game, they play Florida. And they held Florida to a bunch of field goals. And when you do that, you're going to be able to stay in the game here. So they waited him out. And I don't think DJ Lagway is 100%. Just doesn't look right, just moving around. You see he's wearing a sleeve on his left leg. So I think they caught him and stayed in the game, and give him credit, they won the game. So I'm thinking The line's going to be 12.5, 13. If it's over that, I might take South Florida. Well, here's a couple reasons you may not want to take them here. Byron Brown, the quarterback, has rushed 14 and 17 times first two games. Big kid, strong kid, and he did it against Miami in the first half, then Miami adjusted. So Miami's already played him last year. They know how to play him. He's going to get some yards running. You know, he drops back to pass, can't find anyone. But I don't think he's an adept enough passer. I don't see any guys in the backfield or at the wide receiver position that scare you here. And probably pretty lucky to have no interceptions so far this year. He might see some regression here. South Florida's defense only, get this, 3 defensive pressures in the game against Florida. That's right, 3 defensive pressures, and all were from non-defensive linemen. Carson Beck, here's a stat, going back to when he started as a freshman. If you grade all the quarterbacks, college football, there's 136 now teams. They will have, good days and bad days. They'll have pressure, no pressure. But Carson Beck is number 6 since he became a starter in his freshman year at Georgia with a clean pocket. He is that adept to pick you apart. And I was at that game, that Miami game that they played against Notre Dame. He was composed. He was picking out the right receiver to go to. I wanted to see that. You don't see it watching the game live or on YouTube the next day or the day after. So I think he's going to have a big game here. So I think Carson Beck is going to cook here. Everyone's talking about all these quarterbacks. You're hearing about Sellers from South Carolina, Arch Manning. Carson Beck's playing the best of any, I think, of these big-name quarterbacks that might come out at the end of the year. So he could end up being a top 10 quarterback again, where he was slated to go a couple years ago before he had that bad run last year. And receivers, he had most receivers in college football. Georgia would drop balls last year, I think 30 of them. We're going to take Miami here, minus the 17 points over South Florida. I think Carson Beck is going to cook. Miami big, 38-14.
All right, so we'll see if the Hurricanes can stay on fire and go to 3-0 with a win over USF coming up on Saturday afternoon. So we shift now to Monday Night Football and the first game of the doubleheader, the Buccaneers and the Texans. Tampa Bay back on the road after rallying past Atlanta last week. And that's our second lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it! Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Texans back at home after they were shut down by the Rams on Sunday. In Tampa Bay, a back-and-forth game. Baker Mayfield didn't have great numbers through the go-ahead touchdown, though, in the final minute. But still, how do you expect this game to turn out, Lee, with Tampa Bay and Houston on Monday night?
Yeah, so like this game, 2 major reasons. I do believe that Houston is going to put pressure on Baker Mayfield. They got to the quarterback 3 times against the Rams, which have a similar or maybe even a better offensive line than this Tampa Bay team, with Tristan Wirfs still, dinged up, may not be able to play. Will Anderson and his mates, I think they are going to, like I said, be all over Baker here, and that's number one. And then the other reason here is they had to settle for 3 field goals. New offensive coordinator did Houston. Settled for those 3 field goals. I thought they were right there. That game could have gone either way, couple plays. So people base their decisions too much on one game. And I think that Houston's going to be a different team at home here. And I think that the Tampa Bay Bucks got lucky here, facing an Atlanta team still has no pass rush. They picked a couple guys, first couple rounds, who I thought could get to the passer. Guys are just too light, not ready for the next level just yet. So, great situational play here. We had the level 1 lock with the Miami Hurricanes. We're going to go with a level 2 lock, Houston Texans, on Monday night over the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Yeah, and it seemed like, too, quickly from the end of that Falcon game, it's like the Falcons had about 25 shots inside the 10 to finally take the lead on that Michael Penix stretch play, and they did that. And then the Falcons still had a chance to force overtime. They missed the field goal at the end, so Tampa Bay avoided, they dodged the bullet in that one, so we'll see how things turn out Monday night with the Bucs and the Texans coming up in Houston. Before we get out of here, Lee, we talk about Paramount Sports, and we're inching closer and closer to Thursday night and the beginning of the football weekend.
Yep. As mentioned, if you're the first person, if you're listening on one of the different platforms, Apple, Spotify, or watching us on YouTube, we appreciate you liking and subscribing. Just if you can figure out who that team is who lost a running back, going to have to play a walk-on running back. Like I said, he's listed 5'9", he's probably 5'7", has no business playing at this level. And that will be one of the games we talk about tomorrow on this show. If you're the first person, like I said, DM me at Paramount Sports on Twitter or X, or email me at psports@bellsouth.net, and you could win the rest of the month of my football service for free. So you want to hop on board. Looks like we might have another max wager play. Hit it last week with Baylor. My history, we're now 72-28 on these plays. That's a pretty darn good 72%. No one can make that play documented over the last 18 years. These come around 5 or 6 times a year. Might be back-to-back weeks. We have a 45 to 50 unit max wager. So you want to hop on board. September to Remember special. Use coupon code SAVE100, just $297. Also, we'll have another UFC card. We'll release that probably later this afternoon, early tonight, and one 12 out of 15 UFC card. So check it all out, ParamountSports.com.
And again, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, as well as our podcast. And you can find that on your favorite audio platform as well. And you can find us on X, Lee at Paramount Sports, myself at Rogers Picks. We'll talk to you again on Thursday, back with the football. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers, and we appreciate you tuning in once again to Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.